Okay, so have you ever felt like uh, you're juggling chainsaws?
Chainsaws.
Yeah. Like your career's going a million miles an hour on one side,
Right?
but then your relationship's like, hey, what about me on the other?
Oh, totally.
So today, we're going deep on how to make those two work together
Yeah.
instead of it always feeling like a tug of war.
Absolutely. A constant battle.
Exactly. And we found this awesome source that breaks it all down into practical steps.
Oh, cool.
Plus, we've got an expert here to help us figure out what it all means,
Awesome.
like how to apply it to our own lives,
Mm,
that kind of thing.
love it.
So the first thing our source really hammers on is open communication.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's not just like the casual, honey, how was work?
Right.
It's about having those big conversations.
Like deeper, more meaningful.
Yeah. Where do you actually see yourself in 5 years?
Right.
What are your non-negotiables for your career and your relationship?
It's interesting because so many couples actually put off those conversations.
Oh, I know. It feels scary.
Yeah, it feels so heavy and intense.
Right.
But it's like, imagine you're building a house together, right?
Okay. Yeah.
If one person's thinking cozy cottage and the other one's all skyscraper,
Oh,
you're going to have problems down the road.
big time. So then how do we actually have these conversations?
Well, the source had this great tip.
Okay, tell me.
Schedule a relationship meeting.
Ooh, sounds official.
I know, right? But it makes it clear this is important, dedicated time.
Makes sense.
So each person writes down their top 3 career goals
Okay.
and then their top 3 relationship needs. And then you share,
Cool.
you listen without interrupting, and then you can brainstorm how to make them work together.
I love that because then it doesn't become a who works harder competition.
Right. Exactly.
It's about, okay, how do we make this work for both of us?
Exactly.
And speaking of making things work, the next big thing our source talks about is boundaries,
Ooh, boundaries, yes.
which isn't just no phones at the dinner table, although good rule,
Definitely a good starting point.
but it's about being intentional.
Right. Absolutely. Imagine you're training for a marathon.
Okay.
You wouldn't just run randomly whenever you felt like it, right?
Oh, no. You'd have a plan.
Yeah, a schedule, rest days, a whole strategy.
Right.
Boundaries are like that for your relationship.
I like that analogy.
So decide together. When does work actually end for the day?
Yeah.
What's one night a week that's 100% couple time no matter what?
This actually reminds me of this time I was working on this huge project,
Oh, yeah.
and I was so stressed, constantly on edge.
Oh, I feel that.
And my partner finally was just like, hey, I miss you.
Oh!
Not the stressed out, glued to the phone version.
Right.
So we made this rule, Sunday fun day.
Okay.
No work talk, just fun stuff. And honestly, it was a game changer.
Nice.
But it's not all about rules, right? Our source also talks about mutual support.
Oh, so important.
And this is deeper than just, good luck on that presentation, honey.
Yeah, it's more than surface level. If you think about it, relationships really thrive on feeling safe
Okay.
and supported, right?
Yeah.
Think about when a friend's going through a tough time.
Hmm.
You don't just give advice, you listen, you empathize.
You're there for them.
Do that for your partner's career too.
Oh, that's good.
Ask, what's your biggest challenge right now? How can I help?
Yeah. Like being each other's cheerleader,
Yes.
but also like each other's coach.
Exactly. Offering tactical support.
I love that. Now, even with all this in place, life still happens.
Oh, for sure. Curveballs all the time.
So our source is big on regular check-ins,
Yes.
like taking your car in for maintenance.
Right. Got to make sure everything's running smoothly.
Exactly. And here's the thing.
What's that?
Our brains trick us into thinking we're amazing at multitasking.
Oh, we're not.
Not really. You might think you've got work and love balanced,
Right. Right.
but resentment can build up without you even noticing.
Sneaky little thing.
So every few months, have a State of the Union.
Ooh, I like that.
Are we both feeling energized?
Right.
Where are we out of balance?
Yeah.
What needs to shift?
Makes so much sense.
And that brings us to the final ingredient,
Okay, drum roll, please.
compromise,
Compromise.
which sometimes gets a bad rap, like someone's always losing out.
Right, like it's a bad thing.
But our source frames it so differently.
How so?
It's not about splitting everything perfectly 50-50.
Right.
It's about finding the 100% solution that works for both of you.
Yes, I love that.
So maybe one person works late Tuesdays, the other handles Wednesdays.
Okay.
Maybe you switch off who cooks dinner.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not about fairness. It's about what makes you both happy.
In your unique situation.
Exactly. So to recap, open communication about those big goals,
Mm-hmm.
boundaries that are intentional, not just restrictive.
Yes.
Being a real support system for each other, not just surface level. Those regular check-ins. So resentment doesn't build up.
For sure.
And remembering that compromise is about finding what works, not who's winning.
Love it. Now, here's a question for you listening. What's one small step,
Ooh, yeah.
even tiny, that you can take today to move towards better balance?
I like that.
Is it scheduling that relationship meeting?
Right.
Setting your phone to do not disturb after dinner?
Easy things.
Think about it. You'd be surprised what a difference a small change can make.
Fantastic advice to leave us with.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll catch you next time.
Bye.